Hey everybody, this is the Undead Viking, and this game is called Envyra. Envyra is a game of tile claiming and secret knowledge and bluffing and kind of you think, I think things going on. Plus it's got some reveal moments, something that I always talk about that I really, really enjoy about games. It has some set collection and just some straight victory point collection, but it's a heck of a lot of fun. It's one of those like mind-thinking games where you're trying to kind of determine what the other player is doing, and turn order matters so much. Something also that I really, really enjoy about games. It's just a brilliant little game in a tiny little box. You'll be able to teach it in about like 5 minutes to your friends, but then like the layers of the onion start peeling and they start, you know, seeing just how much depth the game has. So let me show you how the game is played, and we'll come back here and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, so this is Envyra. I have gone ahead and set up a 4-player game of it. The big difference between playing with a game of 3 or 2 players as opposed to 4 is the amount of tiles that you're going to have available to use that you're going to be claiming. If you look at this player board, you can see that there is this little like 3-player, and then it has this row here, and then it has this 4-player and has that row here. So if you're playing, so you notice this is a 3x4 grid, and that's a 3x4 grid. If you're playing with 3 players, you'd play with a 3x3 grid. And if you're playing with 2 players, you play with a 2x3 grid. You also might have noticed this like red outline of that particular square. You'll see that that actually is this red outline there. The reason that is put on there is just to make sure that every single person's little personal player board is going to have that red square represented there, because so you can have the orientation correct. Also, I should mention that during like a lot of the game, you're going to be covering your player board with a little player screen like so, to kind of hide the different spots on the board that you're going to be trying to place cubes on to try to claim. You will reveal it by taking away your screen after everybody places their cubes, but I'm not going to have those out there just so you can kind of see what's going on. Just bear in mind that you are going to be secretly choosing your actions as you play. Alright, so the game is quite simple. Your whole goal is you're trying to claim tiles. Now, and the reason you're claiming tiles is that's how you're going to get victory points. Now, some tiles, like this red tile here, have this little star up here that has a 2 on it. That's going to be worth 2 victory points. You'll also notice these 3 cubes over here. That means that once 3 cubes are on this particular tile, it has been claimed by someone. You'll determine that, and I'll show you how you do that in just a little bit. This little S on the bottom here just means that it's a starting tile, and that's why it's one of the 12 that are out on the board at this time. There's another way that you can claim points, and that is by claiming sets. You claim sets by having like-colored tiles with different icons on them. So, for example, we have like these 3 different green tiles out there, and all 3 of them have different icons on them. And according to this chart, if you have 3 tiles, and this is blue, but if you have 3 tiles with different icons on them, and you had those 3, it'd be worth 4 victory points at the end of the game. If you had like these 3 red tiles with flames on them, they wouldn't be worth anything because they would not create a set. However, if you had these 2 and that one, that would be a set of 3, and you would get the 4 victory points for that. So, and just if you have a set of 2, it's worth 2 victory points, and a set of 4 is worth 7 victory points, and that's at the end of the game. To play the game is quite simple. You're going to either place 1 or 2 cubes onto your player board, and then after everybody reveals what they've chosen, starting with the first player, they're going to pick one of the cubes that's on their player board, and they're going to place it onto the board, possibly claiming a tile. So to begin with, we'll just say like maybe we'll go like here for the first player, and we're going to go here. And and then the next player, I'm just picking these fairly at random, but I want to show you how this works. And so we'll go there, and there, and we'll go here. Oh, that's the wrong cubes. We're going to go here, and there, and then we're going to go there, and there. Alright, so I kind of, and once again, I'm using the same cubes. Let's do this again. Alright, so there you go. I kind of did this just so I can show you how this game works. So now we reveal, and so the first player's got the choice between either going here or here, and they're going to be able to claim that tile. So we're just going to go ahead, and since you all reveal, you can kind of look at what everybody else has done, and they can see that, you know, this player over here has placed a cube in the exact same spot as them. But they're going to get to go first, so they're going to want to take that. And looking over at the other two players, they realize that nobody else has placed one in the other location that we want to go to. So we're going to go ahead and place the cube there. Because we've satisfied the one cube that it needs, we're going to immediately take it and put it in our pile, and we're going to return our cube to us. We're going to go over to this player. Well, now they can't do anything because there's nothing there, so they only have one option, and they're going to go ahead and place a cube there. Now this player is going to say, well, you know, which one do I want? Because of the fact that no matter what they do, this player is going to be able to place another cube onto that spot. And so they're going to be trying to figure out how can they, you know, somehow manage to, you know, claim one of those two possibilities. Because of the fact that the turn orders do go in a serpentine fashion. And so I'm going to show you this. So they're going to go here with their first cube. And the reason they did that is because now this player gets to do both of their turns. And you can't choose not to do one. So they're going to go there, and they're going to claim that tile, and they're going to return that cube, and they claim this one. And now they're going to go to this spot, but they can't claim it because they do not have any sort of, doesn't have the 3 cubes it needs. So now this player, the gray player, can pick that one. Now you'll notice that there are 3 cubes, and there's one of each of these colors. What happens to this is, since everybody's equal and nobody has a majority. Now if the gray player had put it on there and it had been like this, the white player would still get that particular tile because they would have 2 cubes to 1. But in this situation, this kind of Neapolitan look here, now you have a situation where only, like, everybody has 1 cube on there, so there's no majority. However, in this situation, the last person to place a cube on that tile claims it. So we're going to go ahead and return those cubes. We're going to take this and take that one. We get to here, and this player is unable to play a cube, that one, so they can't do anything with it because there's no tile there. And now the last player goes there and takes the second cube for that turn. Now, in this situation, there are no cubes left on the board, but there are going to be times when cubes are going to be left out there because you're going to be building up majority on those particular tiles. Now at this point, you're going to refill all empty spaces on the board that do not have tiles on them. And I'm going to kind of talk about some of the things you're seeing, different kinds of tiles that are showing up here real quickly. So we'll place those out there. Couple things here. These particular tiles, 2 tiles there, don't have any like color to them. They can't be part of a set. However, they are going to be worth a bunch of victory points if you're able to claim them. Both this tile and this tile have these little like gems on the side of different colors. In order for you to be able to even put a cube onto those tiles that have those gems in there, you have to have claimed tiles of those colors to be able to place a cube on there. So in this case, for this particular tile right here, the only person that's even allowed to put a cube on there right now would be the purple player because they have claimed a red tile. Nobody at this point can claim put any cubes on that particular tile because you need 1 claimed tile of each color to do so. So if you ever run into a situation where it's the beginning of your turn and for whatever reason you have placed out your cubes and you haven't been able to like claim anything and nobody's helped out by putting other cubes on there and return cubes to you, and it's now at the beginning of your turn, you got to place cubes out and you can't, at that point unfortunately you have to take all of your cubes back, put them next to your put them next to your player board so you can actually go that turn. And that's a bad thing. You should try to make sure you don't do that because you want to have your claims, right? You want to stake, your claims on the different majority areas so you can have the chance to get cubes. And you'd hate to all those turns of building up to like fail at that point and just have to start all over. So try not to have that happen. After that first turn, you replace those. You're going to go ahead and put the first player marker over to the next player, and you're just going to go ahead and do the same thing again. You're going to cover it up, pick your spots, go through, and you're going to have, each person is then going to determine dominance or what have you and claim tiles and be able to, get more points. The game will continue until a tile is taken and this tile comes out. This is the final tile. The final tile is just that. It is once that final tile is taken, and it can come out at any time, but because you need one tile of each, you know, it will take a little bit, even if it comes out like after like the first round. You know, the first time you replace a tile, it still will take a while because people need to claim tiles to be able to put it on there. Once that tile is taken, the game ends immediately. There's no like last turn or anything like that. The game ends immediately, and then you total up your victory points. And as I said, you get your victory points from the stars that are on the tiles you've taken, and plus the sets that you collect as well. Whoever has the most points will obviously be the winner of Envyra. This is a remarkably simple, mechanically wise game, but so deep when you're talking about the interaction between the other players, trying to outthink and outguess what they're going to be doing. You know, I really like this. I was a little bit surprised how much I enjoyed this one, you know, because it was, you know, rather, you know, abstracty, and that's usually not my thing. But I'll tell you why I really dug it in my final thoughts. Oh, yes. Envyra, everybody. So there you go. That is how you play. I hope that was pretty straightforward and you caught that. You know, and you can basically, if you want to, go ahead and check out the rules as well on the game page or the Kickstarter page. You can go a little more in depth. But there are some other variants that you have. There's some cards that you can have as well. So after you've played the game a few times, you can use these Envyra cards. Now, let me grab one here and I'll show you. And so these can either be like bonus cards that are placed near the board, where the first person to claim tiles of those colors can claim the card for extra victory points, or they can be a secret card that you have face down in front of you, and it can be worth some extra victory points at the end of the game if you're able to collect, you know, the icons that are there. And so it adds a little bit more, you know, to the mystery of the scoring, if you will, if you don't want to have a completely deterministic game. Because obviously, that's one of the things I kind of like about it, though, is because you can kind of sense when people are getting, you know, close to the end of the game, or when they have certain types of victory points and they've collected certain tiles. You can kind of get a feel for your point total in comparison to them, and so you kind of start jockeying for position. And that's when the final tile comes out, where it's kind of an interesting end game starts happening, where you know, you might have somebody who's in the lead who starts dropping cubes on that spot. And it takes 4, you know, to claim. As you can see, there's 4 spots of 4 cubes on there. But they'll start dropping cubes on there, and so now it becomes kind of a mad dash for everybody else to try to claim some other territory, other tiles that are going to be able to hopefully put their victory point total ahead of them. And so there's that I really enjoy as far as when the end game happens. But I mean, I like games with the real moments. There's just something cool about placing your cubes on the board, and then you know, trying to figure out what everybody else can do. As I said at the beginning, the turn order matters a heck of a lot. So if you're sitting on the last, it can be both a position of weakness and a position of power. If you can guess what other people are going to do, where other people are going to be placing their cubes, having those 2 cubes to be placing one after another, you know, if you directly deduce where other people are going and what other people are taking, you can put yourself in a position to grab a lot of territory, and or you maybe are trying to avoid where other people are placing their cubes, so you can kind of build off it for the next turn, things like that. So I mean, there's just so many different layers and depth as far as just kind of trying to just determine where other people are, what other people think, where other people are going. I mean, in a lot of ways, the first player kind of has it easy, right? If there's a low-hanging fruit, so to speak, to grab, that first one is. But I mean, man, it's but since you have to go serpentine and go all the way back, making sure that that second cube, if you use a second cube, is actually positioned somewhere where it's helpful. That's also really tough as well. So, I mean, I can't say enough about it. I was a little worried. If you've watched my videos, you know that abstract themes, I mean, I guess technically this is a elemental game, you know, an elemental theme to it, you know, different elements kind of warring against each other, or what have you. But the theme really doesn't matter, right? I mean, you could have made it about anything. It's about claiming the tiles. It's about figuring out what other people are doing. And like I said, usually a theme neutral game usually doesn't appeal to me. But this one, just because of the interaction with everybody at the table, the reveal moment of like seeing where other people are going, what they're doing, you know, like when you like, yeah, you know, like you picked right, or like, why did you do that? You know, that kind of thing. You know, I like those moments. Anytime you get like everybody at the table interacting, having a good time, you know, enjoying each other's company, but also just like the rules of the game kind of slide away because everybody knows how, everybody knows what they're doing, and then you can just concentrate on the puzzle that the game is giving you. So for those reasons, and you know, just because I enjoyed the heck out of it, if this is something you think you'd like, I definitely check out Envyra. If you have any questions about the game, by all means ask away. I'll be happy to answer those as best as I can. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, I am the Undead Viking, and I'm telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. Alright, bye-bye.